In the 70-plus year history of NASCAR, it has been infamous for its famous upset winners. These upsets mostly take place on superspeedway tracks such as Daytona and Talladega. With the engine restrictions and the way these drivers utilize the draft at these superspeedways, that is why these upsets are most common. One of the most forgotten upsets in NASCAR history took place in the 2006 Budweiser Shootout. Pre-race favorites such as Tony Stewart, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Gordon, Elliott Sadler in the background, and Michael Waltrip would have to take a back seat to the kid.
I'm Denny Hamlin. I won my first Bud pole in my 6th start at Phoenix International Raceway.
The newest driver of the number 11 FedEx Chevy would roll off the grid 15th. Before we get any further into this race, we need to take a quick look back on what got us to this point. 2005 was the dawn of a new era over at Joe Gibbs Racing. The team officially launched its third car, the FedEx Chevy, with Jason Leffler ready to roll as its debut driver. Initial high expectations for this third team eventually turned into disappointment. They could barely stay inside the top 35 in owners' points as DNQs and DNFs became the new norm. Unable to show the slightest improvement towards the end of the season, Jason Leffler was eventually let go. Small stints from Terry Labonte and JJ Yeley came soon after, and the search for a new full-time driver entering 2006 began. Rumors started going around that the team was interested in its pipeline drivers in both JJ Yeley and Denny Hamlin. The late JD Gibbs eventually narrowed down the decision. Denny Hamlin would take over full-time in 2006. He showed promise towards the end of 2005 after making the final 7 starts of the season. His highlight from those 7 races was winning his first career pole at Phoenix, qualifying him for the 2006 shootout. The potential was already beginning to show. At both Kansas and Phoenix, he would lead a combined 24 laps and run most of those races inside the top 10. In his combined 7 starts, he would score an impressive average finish of 17.1, along with 3 top 10 finishes at Charlotte, Martinsville, and Texas. With the 2006 season getting ready to start, Hamlin had a unique opportunity to try and show out for his new team. A win in the Budweiser Shootout would be a huge morale boost for a team that went through hard times. But as you can see in the top left corner, that was going to be a challenge because Hamlin had to start all the way back in 15th. Mired back in traffic, Denny Hamlin was able to make his way all the way inside the top 10 with around 6 laps to go in stage 1. He avoided the first caution of the race and was able to finish the first stage in 8th. Where you finished in stage 1 was where you would restart for the final stage of the shootout, so Hamlin would finally get some lead pack action. The initial restart was a bit chaotic. Hamlin was trying to get by McMurray to stay inside the top 10 but was forced below the yellow line. He was eventually able to find his place within the pack as he was running mostly in the middle to begin stage 2. He was showing a superspeedway racer's true patience because 3 laps later, somehow, someway, he was able to find his way inside the top 5 and pass Michael Waltrip for second. With no pre-race mentions, Denny Hamlin is shocking the NASCAR world. Eventually, Hamlin got passed again, but the big picture is simple. With 30 laps to go, the rookie, Denny Hamlin, making his first Cup Series start at Daytona, has a good shot at getting his first win. Just in the nick of time, his new Cup Series teammate, the defending NASCAR Nextel Cup Series champion Tony Stewart, was finally able to work with him. He pushed Hamlin to second, but in the process also got bumped back to 4th. Eventually, Stewart got around Hamlin, and with 23 laps to go, the two decided it was time to make their final pit stop. The FedEx crew came in clutch when they needed to. They were able to get Hamlin first off of pit road, and once green flag pit stop cycled through, with 18 laps to go, Denny Hamlin was sitting in P1. Again, let me remind you, not a single mention during pre-race, not a single interview with that said driver, and the only rookie inside the field is showing out. However, the race was far from over. It was coming down to the wire with around 15 laps to go when a huge pack began to form. Drivers such as Tony Stewart, Ryan Newman, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Mark Martin, Scott Riggs, Jimmy Johnson, and Matt Kenseth were beginning to emerge as late race favorites. With around 12 laps to go, you saw new drivers emerging as well from the likes of Jamie McMurray and Kyle Busch. Hamlin was starting to get some wide open space, but at plate tracks such as Daytona, that's not necessarily the best thing. Newman and Jr. were beginning to form a line and getting a huge run off of Hamlin's back bumper. Within 10 laps to go, Kyle Busch and Ryan Newman began to make their moves, as well as Michael Waltrip. Hamlin had no choice but to start mirror driving. He was switching up his lanes, going from the high side to the low side, would be in the middle sometimes, but with 8 laps to go, it started to get chaotic. Ryan Newman and Kyle Busch had a huge run up on him, and Newman was beginning to make his move, sending it 3 wide. The courageous yet chaotic move soon backfired. Ryan Newman had minimal help inside the middle lane, while Kyle Busch straight up fell like a rock on the outside. Soon after that move, Tony Stewart would shoot around in the middle all the way back to the inside lane right in front of Dale Jr. The Joe Gibbs teammates were paired up once again on the inside with 8 laps to go. Kyle Busch and Michael Waltrip do whatever they can to try and make the outside lane salvageable. Initially, it ends up working. Busch is able to beat him towards the line with 7 laps to go, but soon after, the outside lane began to break up. Stewart wasn't going to bail on his teammate just yet. Him and Dale Jr. were able to make the inside work and stick with Hamlin. Kyle Busch does whatever he can to use the side draft to break up the inside line. It doesn't end up working. He ends up backing up. Michael Waltrip and Jimmy Johnson do whatever they can to try and make the outside lane work. That doesn't end up working, and with 7 laps to go, the inside lane is the place to be. Until it's not. Eventually, Stewart switched up on his teammate right away, and with 4 laps to go, was able to take the lead before the final caution of the race came out. The final restart of the Budweiser Shootout is going to be hectic. Hamlin will restart in P2 on the outside lane. The rookie who was brought in to bring life into this dysfunctional team was able to do that exact thing in race 1.
He got a pretty good restart, Denny Hamlin in the 11 car, but boy, they are packing up right now.
Johnson pushes Hamlin in front, and Hamlin dives down low.
Good move, Denny Hamlin.
Now can Tony Stewart latch onto the 11?
Got a lap to do it.
Can the 48 get some help from Martin to get in front?
Last lap in the Budweiser Shootout.
The 20 car is just beaten up on the bumper of that 11 car, Denny Hamlin, but that's why. That's what you can do.
Look what a difference it made, Wally. 2 car lengths drove him by the 48.
Only 4 times has a first-time starter in this race gone to victory lane. The last time Dale Jarrett in 1996.
And here comes Junior on the outside on the last lap.
Big run on the outside. Does he have enough?
Off the final turn in the Budweiser Shootout. The season starts with fireworks. Denny Hamlin, the rookie, wins the Budweiser Shootout.
And second was Tony Stewart. One says Stewart and one says Earnhardt Jr.
That's how a rookie earns respect at Daytona.
And tremendous credit to Tony Stewart, who helped his teammate.
That is unbelievable.
You can't get that window net down fast enough. Dale Earnhardt Jr. with a wave.
Jimmy Johnson congratulated him.
The best case scenario happened for this driver and team in their first race out. With his parents in attendance, Denny Hamlin won the 2006 Budweiser Shootout. I guess you could say this win is a bit forgotten in his career just because he's accomplished so much. Even up to this point, people may not even consider this an upset anymore because of how many times he's won. Well, I'm here to tell you this is still within my top 10 upsets all time in NASCAR. This is a win at the time nobody saw coming, and nobody could tell how much success Hamlin would eventually have. We had no idea whether he would actually be any good, be eventually a champion, or would he even win another race, or would he become just another bust. It's safe to say it's panned out, and ever since this monumental win, Denny Hamlin has not looked back. And once again, that'll do it for another video. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Black Flags Matter. Catch you next time.